As Kogi and Bayelsa are set for Saturday's governorship elections, President Buhari calls for fairness and transparency.
We're seeing a lot of entrepreneurship. We're seeing a lot of young people who are very actively engaged in the digital economy at various levels.
Vice President assures on opportunities for talented youths in the country.
It is therefore premature for anyone to say, oh, there are enough laws already to deal with social media deviants.
Plus, federal government resolves to sanitize a social media space. A lovely evening to you and welcome to Network News on the NTA. Kenan Ima Amurike is my name. With me on the news from Lagos is Dotun Oguyemi and Ogochukwuka Onar is in Benin. President Muhammadu Buhari has made a strong demand for exemplary conduct of non-partisanship on the part of elections and law enforcement officials in the Kogi and Bayelsa elections. In a statement, the president urges all to carry out their duties with fairness and transparency without fear or favor. He advises voters to exercise their franchise in a peaceful and orderly manner in line with the law in all situations. President Buhari also asks the candidates to accept outcomes and follow the due process of the law in seeking redress rather than resorting to self-help. The president wishes the two states and their peoples a safe and credible exercise as they vote in these historic elections. First Lady of Nigeria Aisha Muhammadu Buhari has canvassed support for the re-election bid of Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State for continuity, economic growth and sustainable development. This was at the APC Governorship Grand Finale campaign in Lokoja, Kogi State capital, in a show of solidarity and support to the government and the people of the state. Preparatory to the gubernatorial election comes Saturday, 16th November. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir reports that at the grand finale rally, which attracted the participation of the APC stalwarts and supporters from all over the country, the First Lady enjoined the people of the state to come out en masse on Saturday, 16th November, to elect Governor Yahaya Bello in order to benefit more dividends of democracy in all aspects of development.
Here in Kogi State for the first time. That's coming up next Saturday. Please vote for Bello for continuity. This time, vote for him for continuity of payment of salary on time. Salary on time. I want Bello to come and help me talk about the salary, payment of salary on time.
We have been paid on time. The civil servant has paid. They can attest to that, Your Excellency. You directed, you supported, and we cleared the salary arrears, and we shall continue to pay on time.
Governor Yahaya Bello, alongside party chairman Adams Oshiomhole and the chairman Governors Forum, as well as Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi and other speakers, dwelled extensively on the achievements recorded in the state by the APC-led administration within the first tenure of 4 years, and therefore urged for more support in order to move the state to the next level. Earlier at the sideline, the First Lady had inaugurated a new brand presidential lodge in Lokoja built by the government of Kogi State under the leadership of Governor Yahaya Bello. Ahead of the November 16 Kogi governorship polls, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) has held its grand finale campaign in Ayumba with a promise to restore Kogi State to the lane of posterity. The report.
The CMM AMC Primary School, Aingba, was the venue of the rally where PDP party supporters, leaders and stakeholders converged to support the PDP standard bearer, Engineer Musa Wada, and his running mate, Bamidele Sam Arrow. The PDP candidates for Kogi governorship election, Musa Wada, while seeking for the people's support, assured them of prompt payment of workers' salary, improved standard of education, improvement in health, security and agricultural sector, as well as equal distribution of the dividends of democracy to the people without favorism and tribalism. Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel, Oyo State Governor Engineer Sheyi Makinde, and former Governor of Kogi State Captain Idris Wada, among other stakeholders, urged the party to vote for the PDP candidate and his running mates. Hence the need to open up Kogi State to infrastructural and economic development. They charged all party supporters to be law-abiding before, during, and after the elections. Mobolaji Moribiri, NTA News.
Election observation helps ensure electoral integrity and strengthens civil society's capacity to promote citizen participation and foster governmental accountability within and well beyond the election cycle. This is what Youth and Public Safety Awareness Initiative wants to sustain the training of its observers for the upcoming Kogi and Bayelsa gubernatorial.
Experts say is for hitch-free process, deter fraud, expose irregularities, provide accurate measure for the quality of the elections, promote confidence in the process and outcome, as well as provide recommendations for improving the process for the next election. To achieve all this, the observers must be trained and equipped to carry out this simple but tasking job. This is why Youth and Public Safety Awareness Initiative is training 130 observers within its platform.
Acquaint some of our observers on the process of observing the election, most in particularly about reporting and issues.
The training then will remind us some things about the guidelines of INEC, because as an observer, it's supposed to be a neutral body that is going to report situation at its
more so that we can be able to do a very efficient and effective job when we get to Bayelsa and Kogi State.
Out of the 130 will be observers, 80 will be deployed to Kogi State for the election. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says there is no going back on the November 16th governorship elections in Kogi and Bayelsa State, despite 11th hour court judgment. This is coming after about 5 hours meeting by the election management body, presided by the INEC chairman, Professor Mahamoud Yakubu, in Abuja. Chief Press Secretary to the INEC chairman, Rotimi Oyekomi, in a statement, did not make any comment on whether any political party was disqualified to participate. However, NTA's INEC correspondent, Mia Ogidi, is keeping on close contact with the INEC head office, Abuja, for any development as we count down to the Kogi and Bayelsa governorship elections that are already on red zone. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has taken delivery of sensitive materials for the governorship and Kogi West senatorial elections holding Saturday in Kogi State. Deborah Yola Samuel has the details.
The sensitive
President Muhammadu Buhari, in an article, noted that desertification driven by climate change is exacerbating conflict in Nigeria. Hence, the need for tree planting as part of solution to conflict resolution in Nigeria and across the Sahel, and also a means of reducing the threats of land disputes. According to the president, not only are the planted trees lending a base to build on, they aid water retention in the ground, shield the land from erosion, enrich biodiversity, and also recycle the nutrients in the soil for farming, thereby underwriting food security. Young people, the president noted, must be incorporated in the decision-making processes on climate action alongside affected communities to champion the management of the project. Innovative climate financing solutions, methodological planting based in ecological research will also be involved. Women are to be fully engaged on the campaign against climate change. Minister of State for Environment Sharon Ikazo stated this when she hosted Women in Politics at the Federal Ministry of Environment, Abuja. Mie Ogidi was there.
One cannot clap with one hand, but with two. Women in Politics, that is the name of this group. Literally the second hand, the Minister of State for Environment, Sharon Ikeazo, needs to clap loudly in clamping down on environment-related crises.
Politics is life, life is politics. And the same way environment is life, life is environment.
Environmental issues know no political party. So, the coalition of these women in politics is to assist the Ministry of Environment in winning the war against climate change.
And in the planting of trees, of course, the women are going to be fully involved.
We are going to do our best to ensure that we support the Ministry of Environment. Women are the ones most hit when there's climate problem, when there's poverty, when there's insecurity.
Typical of such gatherings, quick photographs were not in short supply to keep the date alive. Mie Ogidi, NT News.
The federal government will continue to curate opportunities for young Nigerians to express their God-given talents and achieve their dreams. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo said this when he received a delegation from the Alibaba Group, led by the founder Jack Ma. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Energetic and creative, that's how Vice President Yemi Osinbajo describes the youth of the country. The Vice President says he's elated for the visit by the Alibaba Group, which is an invitation extended to Jack Ma during one of the Vice President's participation at the World Economic Forum.
Good point, and I think your coming is at a very strategic moment in our trajectory, in our own progress, in the progress of our country. And I think it's a very important moment because when you look at what we're seeing a lot of entrepreneurship. We're seeing a lot of young people who are very actively engaged in the digital economy at various levels.
The delegation is made up of successful entrepreneurs whose expertise the Vice President is hoping would be of great benefit to Nigerians.
The government of Nigeria is certainly happy that you're here, and we really will hope that we'll be able to work with you on so many things, and we know that your experience and what you've achieved will be extremely useful for us also.
And we also want to help 4Es in
Jack Ma says the delegation is on a mission to support Africa's development through ICT.
What we have experienced in China could help a lot of entrepreneurs in Africa. Supporting entrepreneurships in Africa, supporting education in Africa, supporting infrastructure in Africa, and support the education system in Africa. This is what we want, and this is what we come here for.
The group says it's beginning a competition on ICT across Africa, and 4 Nigerians are already among the top 10 contenders. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
Upper Head Senate considers procurement bill, but just after this timeout. Stay tuned.
Hey! Emeka, drive the limousine Bugatti, come inside now! Waiting glow 200 naira recharge card do for me.
200 naira.
Just recharge 200 naira for 1 day, and you say fit follow win for the hundreds and hundreds of heavy prizes like a can of pepper, industrial sewing machine, grinding machine, and generator. Glow, my own done better.
My grinder will go win. Now here I go put up. Make
Hey, make una no go recharge you na glow. I don't win generator, and here na myself. Oh,
the more you recharge, the more your chance the better.
Unlimited. Like a building, democracy has its essential part. Security and peace form the core foundations of any prosperous democratic society. Insecurity deprives a society of the much-needed stability for anything tangible to be achieved. In Kogi State today, there has been peace and stability in the past 3.5 years. This didn't happen by accident. One man, Governor Yahaya Bello, understands the need for peace as an essential ingredient for development. The issue of resolving insecurity in the land tops his table of preference. He provided security agencies with numerous patrol vehicles. Kidnappers' dens have been destroyed. Gangs of robbers have been arrested and prosecuted. Criminals are denied access to land. Kogi State has become one of the most peaceful states in the Nigerian Federation. He needs our support for further development on the solid foundation being laid. Think GYB, a rational choice.
The Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, cordially invites Culture for Peace, Street Carnival and Opening Ceremony, Saturday 23rd November 2019. Venue from Old Parade Ground to Area 1 Abuja. Time from 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Other cultural activities on display are Children's Fiesta at GSS Area 10 Garki Abuja, Durbar at Kuje Stadium, Boat Regatta at Jabi Dam, Masquerade Fiesta at Government Day Secondary School, Gwagwalada, Traditional Cuisine Fair and Bush Bar at Old Parade Ground, Command Performance and Award Night, as well as Contemporary Music Fiesta at the Old Parade Ground from 23rd to 25th November 2019. Time from 8:30 p.m. till dawn daily. Deaconess Grace Isu Gekbe, Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Information and Culture, announcer.
Kogi State Governorship Elections 2019. Are you a resident of Kogi State? The Kogi State Governorship election will be coming up on Saturday, 16 November 2019, and the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room will be on ground to receive reports and provide accurate, unbiased report of the election. You can send your reports of incidents and observations during the elections to the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room by calling us on 0903-299-9919 or 0909-5050505. Reach us on Twitter at Situation Room NG and on Facebook, Situation Room Nigeria. Our hashtag for the election is #Kogi Decides 2019. The Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room, working to improve the electoral process.
Helpline Foundation Nigeria and Partners presents the 3rd Annual African Women Conference AWC 2019, a gathering of experts, institutions, corporate organizations, and individuals promoting the growth, stability, and development of African women, through which various resources available to African women can be channeled towards the sustainable development of the continent.
Keynote speakers: Dame Paul Talin, Ramatu Tijani Aliu, Madam Magdala Cooper, Binta Masigarba, Karima Ranim, Ibtisame Azal, Dr. Anissa Nagra, veteran Nollywood actors and actresses.
Theme: Building a Coalition to End Gender Inequality in Africa. Date: 21st to 23rd November 2019. Venue: Kenzi Manara Palace, Marrakesh, Morocco. For participation and inquiries, visit www.africa-womenconference.org or call +234 806 5388 424. AWC, building an Africa where every woman's potential is fully harnessed. Powered by Helpline Foundation Nigeria, Echoes Africa Initiatives New York, International Center for Diplomacy in Morocco.
The Vice
Vice Chancellor, Dean and staff of the Faculty of Social Sciences, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, and the benefactor ZIGS Annual Lecture Series invite the general public to the 8th Annual ZIGS Lecture under the chairmanship of Senator Ifeanyi Chukwunwobodo, CON, former Governor of Anambra State. Theme: Migration and Development in Africa, Patterns, Issues and Challenges. Guest speaker, His Excellency Dr. Enes Bai Koroma, immediate past President of Sierra Leone. Date: 16th November 2019. Venue: University Auditorium. Time: 10 a.m. Benefactor: Senator Dr. Ben Ndiobi, former Special Advisor to the President on Interparty Matters. Host: Professor Rita Ogokwe Joseph Osai, Dean, Faculty of Social Sciences. Chief Host: Professor Charles Esimone, FAS. Vice Chancellor, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka. Announcer: Dr. Ifeoma Dunu, Chairperson, ZIGS Lecture Series.
We'd like to welcome you back as we go to the National Assembly, where the Senate has passed at second reading the bill that seeks to amend the National Council on Public Procurement and Bureau of Public Procurement Act 2007. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports that the major focus of the amendment is to check corruption in Nigeria's procurement process.
It is Senate to pass the 2020 appropriation bill on the 28th of November this year. The legislative chamber has continued to revisit existing laws to ensure its effective implementation. Just a few weeks ago, the National Assembly passed the Deep Offshore Amendment Bill, and now the Public Procurement Act is in the legislative mill for amendment. The two bills propose the amendment of some sections of the Act and introduce new ones, including Section 1 and 2, which proposes that the National Council on Public Procurement be constituted as provided by the Act, with a new section stipulating the caliber of persons to be appointed into the Council. The amendment also proposed the upward review of mobilization fees to contractors from 15% to 30% as part of measures to encourage local contractors and ensure timely completion of projects. Senators Shuaibu Lau Issa and Uche Ekwinife sponsored these bills.
Section 5 of the PPA 2007 is also being amended to harmonize price benchmarks for all items to be procured by government procuring entities.
And the bureaucracy of the process, especially the one that has to do with no objection certificates, need to be looked into.
If this act remains as it is today, with unnecessarily cumbersome and lengthy processes of bidding, the time we would have gained from passing the budget in time would be lost.
Senator Ibikunle Amosun drew the attention of the Senate to the necessity of a continuous implementation of policy reforms for diversification of Nigerian economy.
Strengthening of linkages among research centers.
I would like to encourage the federal government of Nigeria to also extend a mini industry scheme of processing food.
The popular envelopes that is being proposed for ministries may make it very difficult for them to do it. But if we sit and say, let us think about this, with effective collaboration or synergy with the executive, we'll be able to achieve this.
The Senate has sworn in Senator Biodu Olujimi, representing Ekiti South Senatorial District of Ekiti State. She replaces Senator Adedayo Adeye, who was removed by the court. Now with this, the number of female senators in the 9th Senate has increased to 8 against 7 of the 8th Senate. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Talling, has commended President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, over what she described as efforts at mainstreaming women into governance. The minister met with the President of the Senate, during which she also sought legislative intervention to address the challenges facing the girl child and women in Nigeria.
Having seen what you did to us during the screening and all the distinguished senators, I consider this 9th Assembly as a he for she. I've led my team to present to you in a new light what the Ministry of Women Affairs are doing and the new narratives that I have built in the new ministry since my arrival.
That the federal government should work partner with state governments to ensure that those out-of-school children are enrolled and are kept in school. Maybe a 5-year plan to ensure that everybody is enrolled and kept in school.
Senator Lawan also met with Conference of Speakers of state legislatures who sought the support of the National Assembly in ensuring the implementation of the financial autonomy for state assemblies.
We will need ourselves because there are certain things that we have to do together, especially the constitutional amendment, that the National Assembly takes the lead, but eventually the State House of Assembly would have to play their role as well. So we shouldn't have to wait to be thirsty before we dig the well. We should always be proactive like we have been now.
The House of Representatives says the Nigerian Army should go ahead with the nationwide Operation Positive Identification. This was after the consideration of a 5-point recommendation, one of which states that the operation be carried out in conjunction with other relevant security personnel. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The reason for the Operation Positive Identification, as stated by the Army, was that they had credible information that insurgents and particularly Boko Haram commanders are hibernating or staying within the northeast zone. Due to the bombardments by the military in the northeast, the Boko Haram commanders have started relocating to other parts of the country.
The recommendations of the House Committee on Army following its interaction with the Nigerian Army on Operation Positive Identification was approved by the House. The lawmakers at Thursday's plenary considered and adopted a report and a bill to establish Chartered Institute of Treasury, which seeks to prevent fraud, embezzlement and misappropriation of resources in the custody of fund managers, as sponsored by House Chief Whip.
Corruption has eaten so deep into our skin like a cancer worm, and we need to eradicate it since it has constituted a cog in the wheel of our developmental objectives.
Among resolutions passed were a call on the Federal Ministry of Health to rehabilitate primary healthcare centers across the country and the need to curb the increasing rate of suicide cases as moved by Representative Chukuma Umoji. House members, following a motion from Nolim Naji, urged the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development to resuscitate abandoned coal mining sites in Nigeria.
The resuscitation of coal industry will help assist Nigeria in power generation, in job creation and revenue generation.
In another development, Speaker, House of Representatives, as well hosting management of the National Communications Commission, urged the NCC to ensure the registration of
million. We have 176 subscribers. That's hitting 90% or thereabouts. That's a heck of a lot. That's a lot, and we commend you for that.
The number of unregistered SIM cards in Nigeria are said to be about 2 million. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Still on the National Assembly, the 3rd Annual Summit for the Legislative Network for Universal Health in Nigeria is set to give a boost to efforts to ensure policy thrusts in the health sector are optimally implemented to serve the interests of Nigerians, especially the vulnerable in the society. Organized by the Senate Committee on Health, the summit is aimed at X-raying the role of the legislators in promoting efficiency and effectiveness in Nigeria's health sector. Basi Taiban reports.
The present administration is determined to ensure quality healthcare delivery in the country through several interventions in the health sector. To drive these policies towards achieving the desired results, these stakeholders are rubbing minds together on the way forward in the health sector, with universal health coverage in focus.
We are aware that we don't have or enough resources has not been provided for health. But then, even that we are providing now, are we utilizing it optimally?
That we are very proactive, that we push the frontier of health delivery to that stage we're all looking for it to be.
The summit will also deepen the understanding of the legislators on the concept of universal health coverage and their roles towards the attainment of 2030 targets.
We believe that together we can come up with an appropriation that will be appropriate for development and the progress of the primary health care center.
So if we have a situation whereby legislators and the executives and the private sector are working together, there is vast untapped resources in Nigeria, and it can only be tapped if you have this kind of coalition.
A consensus is expected to be reached on the strategic framework for the National Legislative Health Agenda to guide the activities of the legislators for the next 4 years. Basi Taipang, NTA News.
To other matters now, the federal government has strengthened its resolve to sanitize the social media space in the country. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed stated this at a meeting with members of the Guild of Corporate Online Publishers in Abuja. Anthony Forson completes the report.
With this opportunity to solicit your support.
Soon after the announcement by the federal government of its intention to sanitize the social media space, an intense debate has erupted, which the minister said is healthy, going by the fact that a line has been drawn between those who support the idea and those who oppose it. For those who are against, they argue that the nation has enough laws to deal with the issue.
In the first instance, we have not told anyone how we plan to go about the regulation. This is because this will not be a unilateral process. It will involve all stakeholders coming together to chart the path forward.
The minister maintained that apart from enacting a new law, the country will leverage on the technical know-how of giants like Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, and Instagram to check the mess.
It is therefore premature for anyone to say, oh, there are enough laws already to deal with social media deviants. In essence, the committee we plan to set up will determine the best option for us to use.
Even though people are not yielding to cautions, the minister said, they capitalize on the democratic air being enjoyed.
Our concern has to do with the abuse of the social media by those who are bent on spreading fake news and hate speech, and the dangers inherent in that for us, for our national peace and unity. We have no hidden agenda.
And for the avoidance of doubt, Lai Mohammed said,
no responsible government will sit by and allow fake news and hate speech to dominate its media space and trigger a national conflagration.
With bigger democracies putting in place mechanisms to control social media, it will not be out of place for Nigeria to join such a league. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Let's now talk security. The Air Task Force of Operation Lafayette Dole, with troops of 89 and 97 Task Force battalions of Sector 3, have routed ISWAP fighters at Malam Factory on the fringes of Lake Chad in the northern part of Borno State. The routing of the terrorists took place on 13th November 2019, sequel to intelligence reports on the movement of ISWAP fighters in some gun trucks towards troops location in Malam Factory. Consequently, the Air Task Force scrambled 2 Nigerian Air Force attack aircraft to provide close air support and an intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance platform for the ground troops as they engaged the terrorists, leading to the destruction of 2 ISWAP gun trucks and the neutralization of ISWAP fighters as they attempted to escape. The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has directed the Nigerian police medical officers to strengthen their institutional and personal capacity to professionally respond to health challenges being faced by officers and men of the police force in the discharge of their duties. This was at a conference of heads of police medical facilities in Abuja. Francis Foom has details.
Officers and men of the police are exposed to different risks and dangers in the course of ensuring law and order. Consequently, Physical and mental ability are said to be required for effectiveness.
The outcome of this conference will assist the police leadership in addressing the negative impact of job-related stress on the mental health of police personnel, which often occasion unprofessional conduct, and widen the gap between us and the citizens.
Medical officers in the police often meet to interact, learn, network with their peers with a view to enhancing their knowledge and clinical skills to enable them effectively handle job-related stress and mental health faced by the police personnel.
Concerted and continuous efforts are therefore needed to provide quality health care and psychosocial support to ensure police officers are physically, mentally, and socially fit at all times.
Speakers at the conference acknowledged the role of the police in the society and why their health matters.
It is important as police officers to present yourselves every so often to the doctors in the clinics and hospitals for complete medical checkup.
How do we come in where we help the police, especially the medical officers, identify people who are stress-prone, even among those who have HIV, and sort them out and help them?
15 clinical machines for HIV and AIDS testing were presented by the Director General, National Agency for the Control of HIV and AIDS, to the police. In Abuja, Francis Form, NTA News.
Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated Alhaji Bashir Mohammed Dalhatu Wazirin Duse on his 70th birthday, congratulating the Wazirin Duse for many years of serving the public and private sector in a release by Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu. The President extolled the exceptional attitude of the celebrant while in service as the Minister of Internal Affairs, Minister of Power and Steel, and Secretary for Transport and Aviation. President Buhari commends Alhaji Bashir Mohammed Dalhatu for always providing wise counsel to government and institutions in the country, which includes his active role in promoting education, entrepreneurship, and civil responsibility in his community. The President prays that the Almighty God will grant him longer life, good health, and strength to keep serving the nation and humanity. It is time to join Dotun Ogunyemi in Lagos for more reports. How are you, Dotun?
Good. Thank you, Kene, and welcome to Lagos. Let's begin with this breaking news where another fire incident has again occurred in Lagos this Thursday. This time it was a story building housing tailoring materials and other forms of fabrics at the popular Tejuosho market. Jesuto Moses reports that the late arrival of firefighters at the scene of the inferno attracted the wrath of the crowd.
The fire started in a room in the upper floor of the story building, which has concentration of tailors and clothing materials in the popular Tejuosho market around 4 p.m. Sympathizers gathered looking at the occupants of the building as they strived helplessly to find ways to contain the inferno to no avail. Efforts to reach firefighters proved abortive as there were no responses from the emergency numbers.
I don't know what caused the fire, but just that the middle window here started burning right now. So we're like, just like play something. Okay, let's call the fire side. Nobody's picking up. I'm still trying them up to now. They're not picking up. I went upstairs to do my phone and video that nobody's still here now. And this is over like 30 minutes now. This fire is still.
The angry onlookers complained from emergency responders, slapping the cameraman from the rear. Even the firefighters met angry crowd, which took the intervention of security officials to quell. In Lagos, Jesuto Moses, NTA News.
I'm moving away from there now to health matters. Aside the fear of running into traffic in Lagos, the new fear now is the outbreak of a stomach or intestinal disease called gastroenteritis, which has reportedly affected about 400 people with more than 10 deaths so far recorded. Reports from the State Ministry of Health says out of the figure, about 370 people have been treated and discharged. Joy Ken Abakoya reports that the state government has taken steps to curtail the disease.
Gastroenteritis, according to medical experts, is the inflammation of the stomach and intestines resulting from bacterial toxins or viral infection. Symptoms of gastroenteritis, which begin to show 24 hours to 1 week after ingesting contaminated food and water, include constant stooling, profuse vomiting, and dehydration.
What really kills is dehydration from the persistent stooling and vomiting. When you can't replace as much as you lose, you get dehydrated. And when you get dehydrated, it means the supply of oxygen and nutrients to your organs begin to fall. Your kidneys get affected. Before you know, you get into a renal failure.
Lagos is prone to seasonal infectious diseases like gastroenteritis owing to its demography and low-lying megacity nature. In the last few weeks, several cases of gastroenteritis have been recorded in local government areas in Lagos where diseases are easily spread.
We are on top of the situation. We have everything under control, and our cases are subsiding, and the hospitals have been provided with all the resources that they need to take care of this.
To curb the spread of gastroenteritis in Lagos, the state government is advising Lagosians to maintain high standard of hygiene, properly dispose of waste, and avoid open defecation. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakoya, NTA News.
Shell Nigeria Exploration Limited, in collaboration with Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC), has taken its community-free healthcare outreach to the residents of Ota community in Ado-Odo, Ota local government area of Ogun State. Michael Olale reports that this is to support government's efforts to make more available healthcare in the society.
Those seems like election setting, but it was not. These are residents of Ota community, Ado-Odo, in Ota local government area of Ogun State. They came out in their numbers to benefit from the free medical outreach. Tagged Women's Health. Managing Director, Shell Nigeria Exploration and Production Company Limited, Bayo Ojulari, represented said the exercise focused more on women and children because of their significant role in the family, noting that an estimated 900,000 Nigerian women and children die annually, mostly from preventable causes.
There are 17 women who have been taken to a specialist diagnostic center to have mammograms done. That is a scan and an x-ray of the breast to determine what kind of lump is in the breast. We have a one-stop shop here. That means that we screen, assess, and treat on the spot.
For those of them who may have referral cases, some may not end here. So I want to say that they should follow up with their treatment so that they can live a healthy life.
Some of the services provided at the event include medical consultation, free drug treatments, dental services, eye check, and breast and cervical screening, among others.
They saw symptoms of malaria, so I was given a lot of drugs for the cure. Then I was giving mosquito nets for prevention.
The society should emulate this. If you have money, do things like this.
It's a very good thing they are doing, and I have no doubt in my mind that the community is benefiting immensely from the program.
First aid kits were presented to the whole school as part of the organization's desire to enhance healthy living in schools. There was a tour of the outreach stands by government officials as well as other dignitaries present at the event. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Lagos. Network News continues after this break. Do stay with us.
From our wonderful family, meet our active triplets. Mixology, for example, mixes well with drinks. Then enjoy every quick meal with Slurp It Off. And everywhere you go, there is Go-Gurt. Packed with healthy nutrition, nourishing vitamins, power of protein, strength of calcium, revitalizing energy, Hollandia yogurt is bursting with goodness inside and out. Hollandia yogurt, it's it's all good.
Good afternoon, ma. I need Cameroon pepper and anything more you think I could use for
Fine boy. What's your number?
Make and receive payments with just phone number with Pay Attitude. To get started, dial *569# or download the Pay Attitude app or use the USSD code of Pay Attitude banks to enjoy seamless transactions. So, what's your number? Pay Attitude. Be all of you.
That channel where you watch just now don't waka. No panic. There's me no panic. You go do it by yourself like APC. Oh yeah, press the menu button on top your remote. Scroll up and down till you see Information Central. Then press OK. Press OK. Check the signal strength and quality. If the signal strength and quality pass 70, make you press the exit button, go back. Go advanced options, then choose installation, then go to reset and press OK. Yeah, press OK.
Wow, now you fit catch all those channels with the one miss road by yourself. Yes, make your groove for no loss. You see as I do, Abi? And I see as I do,
Go TV. Live it. Love it.
And I see as we do,
Ministers of ECOWAS Tripartite Committee on Anti-Smuggling are meeting in Abuja to look at the preconditions Nigeria proposed for reopening the land borders. Usman Aliyu reports.
The three neighbors, Nigeria, Niger and Benin, are worried over the high rate of smuggling activities which affect the economy and propel insecurity of the countries, particularly Nigeria. Ministers of the three countries unanimously agreed that a monitoring and evaluation committees comprising ministries of finance,
25th and 26th of this month, and together they will look at the modalities for implementing the whole regime of the anti-smuggling regulations that have been agreed upon. And after those 2 days of meetings, we're hoping that they will then be able to recommend formally for the opening of the borders.
Recently, Nigeria sets preconditions that goods imported into Nigeria through land borders maintain originality and people coming to the country secure valid documents which were accepted at this meeting. In Abuja, Usman Aliyu, NTA News.
Ogochukwu Onari is raiding in Benin with some reports from that axis.
Thank you, Kene. Good evening. The University of Benin has presented a 487-page book on national development and human security to the public. The book is authored in honor of Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola. Amule Okolo reports.
And preferred workable solutions is not the only distinctive quality of the distinguished alumnus of the University of Benin, two-time Governor of Lagos State and Minister of Works and Housing in the Federation. He is known for his intellectual insights even in areas not in his immediate field of work. This penchant has helped in producing many memorable quotes and in the authorship of a book by the University of Benin.
He's renowned for his generous contribution in the area of national development.
The book is divided into two parts with 21 chapters. The book launch brought together longtime friends of the minister.
I can only use this moment to further commit my energy and knowledge to contributing more vigorously to finding enduring solutions to those challenges of the people of Nigeria.
The state governor, represented by the Commissioner for Infrastructure, John Inebedion, ascribed some of his success to the tutelage he served under the minister.
What you see happening in Edo is mostly a replica of what has happened in Lagos. They were improving on them.
He earlier paid a courtesy visit to Governor Godwin Obaseki at the Government House. In Benin, I'm Leokolo, NTA News.
And in order to enhance national security optimally, security agencies must shun regimental arrogance, build trust, and establish effective liaisons amongst outfits. This was the main concern expressed at the brigade training for Crocodiles Mile 4, held at the 4 Brigade headquarters in Benin. Again, Anguli Okolo has details.
Challenges such as kidnapping, terrorism, and banditry, security operatives have themselves become engulfed in violent conflict, thereby giving criminals opportunity to unleash terror on the citizenry with impunity. Interagency conflict, which started in 1977 but harked, is a cause of concern in the nation, including Edo State, where 2 soldiers and 3 policemen reportedly lost their lives in 2010 during an army and police clash. Enhancing interagency cooperation in aid of civil authority, a way forward, is the topic of this year's 4 Brigade training to exercise Crocodile Smile 4, which drew participants from security agencies across Edo State.
The overall goal of all security agencies present here is to ensure the safety of all law-abiding citizens and protection of lives and property in the state.
The 4th Brigade has also carried out a free medical outreach in Ibako community in Ovia Northeast as part of its mandate to assist rural dwellers with medical care. In Benin, Angli Okolo, NTA News.
Another break is next. Network News continues shortly. Please stay.
This year, like every other year, for over a decade, we celebrate and reward African creatives around the world at the African Academy Awards ZAFA 2019 in Abuja, Nigeria. The second homecoming event is a 3-day gathering of industry stakeholders and enthusiasts to network as well as the awards and gala night on the 24th of November 2019 at the prestigious Transcorp Hilton Hotel Abuja. For inquiries and sponsorship, advert placements and tickets, call the following numbers on your screen now or visit www.zafa.org.
This is wonderful.
I'm super excited about it. Nothing is expected of them other than awesomeness.
ZAFA 2019. Come expecting the unexpected.
President of International Olympic Committee, Thomas Bach, has concluded his 2-day working visit to Nigeria with a call on the nation to sustain her dominance in sports. Tamara Biwe tells us more on Sports Update.
This is the Association of National